If you are an employer who's looking at changing medical carriers, this video is for you. So what are the considerations when you're looking at changing your medical carrier? First and foremost, I want to say new ID cards. Now, when it comes to ID cards, this is important because obviously this is what's your ticket in to see the providers that you need. The very first thing they're going to ask you is your insurance ID cards. And if you're switching carriers, even if you've had the same provider, having a new ID card is pertinent to getting a new visit with your doctor there. So the biggest thing when it comes to this, like communicating, is most of those ID cards come in a plain white envelope. So it's not going to be a ID card that says, hey, here's your insurance carrier sending you a new card. So communicate to your employees the fact that they need to be looking for that in the mail in the next month or two after your open enrollment is completed until they get those ID cards, not to throw those away. New thing that you also need to consider is your provider network, making sure that the same docs that you've been seeing with your previous medical carrier are in network with the new carrier that you have there. So searching your provider network is very important. Number 3, RX. Prescriptions are really important because there's a couple of things. It's what's known as a new formulary. And the formulary is saying, hey, insurance carrier A might have called this a generic, while insurance carrier B might be calling this a brand name. And so depending upon your copays, things like that, that might switch what your out-of-pocket cost for that is, as well as there might be some things like prior authorization, some step therapy, things like that. So what we highly encourage is, hey, if you are switching January 1st, tell your members to get their medication fill mid to end of December with the existing carrier. And then as soon as January 1st hits, fill your new medication a few weeks early if you can, just to see if there's any disruption. Because if there is disruption, you don't want to do that when you have no medication available. Also, is there opportunity to go to your doctor to see if there are other alternatives that, again, in that example, you went from a generic to now it's a brand name under the new company. Can I switch to an alternative that fits into that generic alternative that would be less out of pocket for you? We kind of mentioned this, but this applies a little bit differently, but prior authorizations. So this is something like, hey, I have a surgery scheduled coming up, but it's not until after the first of the year. So I've already gone through the prior authorizations for imaging, all those sorts of things with the existing carrier. Does that transfer over to the new carrier when that happens? So that might be a phone call to the insurance carrier to transfer over any documentation, things like that from your provider's office. And last thing I would say on here is depending upon your time of year, you might need what's called accumulator credits. And that's essentially saying, hey, if my renewal is January 1st, but my accumulator, so my deductible doesn't reset until January 1st, what happens to all that money that I paid towards my deductible prior to our switch to our insurance company? Now, this might be a little bit rare if you're July, but this might be more applicable if you are more of like an April or an October renewal that you need to apply that. So if there are going to be accumulator credits, let those people know, whether that's done automatically or if they need to provide proof through their most recent explanation of benefits showing how much money has applied to their credits already. So hopefully there's some good helpful tips for you if you're looking at changing medical carriers this year. Follow us on LinkedIn. I post videos there, or also on YouTube where you have the bank of all the videos that we've done. We are trying to be strategic in our approach to how we post content and really revolve around education. So things that we're teaching, as well as strategic. So things like this, when you're switching medical carriers, what do you need to communicate to your employees? So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions on either one of those channels. And thank you for watching.